Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this morning session. I look forward to sharing some information with you and having a discussion with you regarding the independent accountant and our professional engagements. I really appreciate your time this morning. We work hard every day, and we have to do our CPD, and it's important that we spend time on relevant topics. And every time I prepare for a presentation, I tend to learn things and refresh things that even I myself find that we let go along the way. So yes, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a chartered accountant and registered auditor. I do a lot of public sector and private sector consulting. We work on accounting standards, compliance, broad-based black economic empowerment, and tax matters. I also do statutory audits and independent reviews, and I'm an assessor in the tax court. And yes, I share a lot of the experiences I have from the tax court in the webinars. And I will also, throughout the session, explain to you some of the things I picked up where SARS is putting things in place and getting things right from their side, and also from a compliance perspective, the things SARS are busy with. So I'll share that information as we go along. Okay, so let's have a look at what we're looking at today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a good presenter or a good storyteller or a good salesman, and I'm not a salesman, you have to package an event. So sometimes with a presentation like this, when I share all the legislation and what's going on, is that one almost gets a fear of what can go wrong. And my purpose is not to instill fear. It's just to say, but we need to be aware as practitioners of the risks and the things that can go wrong. And these have always been there. We talk about the New Companies Act, but it's already an Old Companies Act. And we just need to be aware of them and understand where we fit in. So yes, today we're going to have a look at the common law, contract law, statutory law obligations, the difference between the various engagement standards. There's basically three we're looking at. We're looking at compilation, we're looking at accounting officer, and then we're touching on independent reviews. And I'll also give you the examples, or we'll discuss the examples of quality control. Quality control, we need not fear. And you'll see the structure is simple. And those are the things you need to do. And it mustn't be a paper chase. It needs to be an exercise where you feel, but okay, I'm in control of my assignments. All right, so then we look at the difference between the various engagements and the level of assurance that we give with the type of engagement we do. We link risk controls and an engagement approach. But you'll see that's the theme throughout the presentation. And our independence as it relates to each type of engagement and other ethical considerations. And how we accept, perform, and complete the engagements. So, ladies and gentlemen, as accountants, our clients look up to us. And in your life, you would have had mentors, and those mentors have given you background. And if you don't have a mentor, find yourself a mentor. You'll see as you mature in the profession, you learn all the time. I learn every day, and we find ways to do things smarter and effectively. And the challenges we have with the government institutions that we work with, like I work a lot with the master's office, and there's challenges, and we need to overcome these challenges, and that's why information sharing is so important. And yes, in today's webinar, please feel free to comment when I make a statement. My statements are based on my experience, And I don't know everything. Yes, I've got 25 years experience. I learned a lot, but things are changing all the time and I have to continue learning. So that's what I do. You must have a spirit of learning in our profession and in any profession you are, because you need to stay relevant. So like I say, it's important that you find a mentor or have a mentor and then be a mentor. We live in challenging times. People are uncertain and our clients are uncertain. Our friends and families are uncertain. And we need to be solid in the way we conduct ourselves. And that's one of the things that I also touch in this presentation, is that we look at ethics. Ethics is it's a pillar of our profession. And in the times we live, in the country we live, the things that are going on, we've seen all the commissions and everything that's going on. And unfortunately, there were accountants involved also. There were accountants involved in VBS. There were accountants involved in Steinhoff. And yes, we need to make a stand that we want to do things correctly. And making the right decision isn't always easy, but there are some times when you need to walk away. So yes, that is the spirit of the presentation and the way we need to do things. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, why do we need, we're going to look at why do we need quality financial statements. We look at the scope of our engagement and who does what, our duties and liabilities, and then we're going to touch on some court cases. We're going to look at the Tax Administration Act, and along with that, we look at a bit of the Consumer Protection Act, the Companies Act, which is very important to us because it affects all CCs and companies, and even where you work with trusts. Some of the trust deeds have stipulations in that this trust must be run as you would in the Companies Act. So there's requirements that you often through a document don't think you have, but then you have them. And that's why it's important when you work with a statutory structure like a company or CC or even a trust, you need to read the founding documents to see what there is. With companies now, with the memorandums of incorporation, you might have a company with a public interest score of less than 100, and the memorandum of incorporation requires an audit. So it's statutory things that you need to look out for, that you do it right. Then we're looking at the accounting officer in the Close Corporations Act, which is still very relevant. We can't form new CCs, but there's still a lot of CCs going around. So we'll have a look at that. We're going to touch on how we reduce our liability as professionals in the different kind of engagement. We're looking at the engagement framework. Then we're going to compare some engagements. And then very relevant, obviously, IFRS for SMME. We often, when we do these webinars, we get the question, what accounting framework do I use? So that's the approach we follow. And then we just touch on some other statutes. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, why we do CPD is that we need to be ready. Benjamin Disraeli said, the secret to success is to be ready for opportunity when it comes. And in these times, I must be honest with you, COVID has ravaged my client base. If I had 300 clients, I think there's 60 that survived. It's challenging times, and everybody's looking for ways to save money. Everybody's looking for ways to cut down on overheads and try and survive. The knock-on from the COVID pandemic is hitting us now. But all the people have used up their reserves. They didn't pay their taxes because they needed the money. So it's challenging times for us in practice. And when we work with our own business and with our client businesses, we need to stay positive. And yes, clients come to us for advice. We don't know everything, but we've got experience, and there's no replacement for experience.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.